Okay, thank you everybody for coming today. We're so excited you could join us for the Educational Technology Fall Webinar Series. Today we have Giulio Danino who's presenting. We're doing the title for today is 3D camera recording to create VR experiences. So Giulio Danino is a state recognized researcher of technology for the Department of Educational Technology here at NJCU. Mr. Danino has a Bachelor's of Arts from NJCU and has worked for the department since 2007. So without further ado, I turn it over to Giulio.
Thank you very much, Dana. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's my pleasure to talk to you about VR cameras. I'm over here with Amelie, our work study, and she'll be taking questions later on. So without further ado, let me begin. Okay, let's get to the next slide. All right, so basically what we want to know is how people use 3D cameras. Basically, my focus was the use of the Insta360 1X2. It is a 360-degree camera. It also has the ability to also do 150 degrees. And it's, the reason why it's not 180 is because, you have to understand like the view of how you're looking at it, the way it's meant to be shot is to see from your perspective. But in regards to 360 degrees, with some editing, that would actually be the more optimal way to record such an experience. So basically, what we have right now is our camera right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right by Dr. Zeger's door. And it's fantastic. I've been using it for the past, I would say 2 months and poking around with it. And it records 360 degrees. If you've ever seen those videos that are, you can like click on it and drag it and see in other directions. They're fantastic for creating virtual experiences, especially for, VR headsets. And, it provides a lot of opportunities for people who would otherwise not be able to go to these places, or perhaps it's a dangerous situation, or they can't afford it financially. But I think it's a really useful tool. And, with some imagination, you can really go a long way with it. So over here in this study from Finland, basically it states that there's 4 primary uses that they found was useful for this type of technology. Basically is the panoramic capture, the experience capture, the automatic capture, and the document capture. Let me go to the next slide. So panoramic capture is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's for documenting these beautiful landscapes. There's some websites I have on the bottom. They basically go around the world, various cities. Like, it's really cool, actually. You can see, so many different things and explore. And, things like this help to make people more worldly too. So they're able to appreciate places that otherwise they may have never gone to. And, for educational purposes, that's what it's pretty ipso facto in that regard. So let me continue on. The next one would be the experience capture. Now, this would actually be my favorite use of it, which would be to create first-person experience. I think that's, so cool, particularly. And I think that really speaks to a lot of people. Over here, like basically this camera is primarily, marketed towards, I would say, extreme sports. You can have people like, biking, hiking. Well, hiking is not really extreme sport, but that's what I would use it for. And, doing things such as that. And it's really cool because of all the attachments that come with it. And, go on with some of the features that it has, which is basically, very conducive to creating those, virtual experiences while using a virtual reality headset. Basically, I don't know if you guys can see my illustration over here that I tried. Very nice and very hard to, to do. But if not, I'll just use the camera right here. Basically, it has 2 lenses on each side. I'll just take it off the tripod. Two lenses on each side. Can you guys see my screen, or should I stop staring at the screen? Good. All right, perfect. It has two lenses on each side, and that's what creates 360-degree experience for you. And importantly, it has speakers on each side as well. So it has 360 degrees of sound. Now, in order to create like these experiences to be more lifelike, you really have to trick the brain. And sound is a big, big part of it. Some people may not think about it that much, but really makes a big difference. It's going to be a really crazy video I'm recording here because I'm like twisting this camera around to put it back on. So anyway, other features, it's waterproof. So, you can go swimming with it. You can go about 32 feet, so you can go diving with it. That also is great for, science classes, nature, showing children and high school students, college students, like remote areas that they can explore that way. What else? Basically, it has a micro USB port. So, you're going to need to have a micro USB to use it. Important pro tip is to basically format it first. Otherwise, you're going to get a ton of errors. You're going to get, weird issues. But first thing you do is format it. Now, editing with this device is really easy. It's really easy, I would say. And it's primarily done on your cell phone. I'm not sure if it works for iPhones. I have an Android, and it works pretty good. I mean, frankly, the controls are a little bit cumbersome, but with a little bit of a learning curve, you can get through it. And I basically have some content that I want to share with you guys later. I basically had one for a tour around the university, and it's pretty interesting. So I'll show you some of that. Now, this camera also records in 5.7K resolution, and other factors are it's voice commanded. You can say start recording, stop recording. I'll say it real quick so it doesn't do it actually. And the editing process is pretty easy, and I think that a lot of it has to do with like advances in other applications, like with the Snapchat and things like that. It's AI oriented, like the editing process. So what are some other features? Well, what I find to be more useful is the desktop editing software that they have for free online, which is the Insta360 Studio, currently versions 4.10. And, you could do like trimming in there, and you can do other very interesting things, such as like locking on specific subjects and having the camera just focus on that. You can have it do other things, speed up, sky's the limit. And speaking of which, you're actually even able to find drone mounts that you can attach these things to and send them up in the air. However, from what I hear all the time is that their lenses are very fragile. I mean, it's funny because they gear it towards all like these very intense situations, but it's like, you're going to send a $364 machine up into the air, and like, you better be a good drone pilot, basically. So, there's that. And let's move on a little bit from here. So here's the automatic capture feature. Now, this would be something that I will actually endeavor to do in the future for future events, perhaps once we finally have an in-person event. Unfortunately, due to this, pandemic, that's kind of, limited. But maybe, if we can have one, it'd be a great alternative for people to attend. People who attend could be a part of a virtual experience. So that'd be pretty fun, I think. So basically, I think that, it's a third person, it's really easy to imagine situations where this could be useful. For example, my illustration here, the Met Opera, they show, you can see these events, like, it's a $350 ticket that, you can have at least some idea of what it's like if you don't want to spend that kind of money. And it's good for, music majors and other people, other people who are interested in these type of things. And, it's interesting. Let's keep going. Another one is document capture. Now, this is, very conducive to using it as an educational purpose. Basically, a lot of this is done also with drones, as I mentioned earlier. I saw a really good one where they showed ancient Mycenaean ruins where a drone had captured 360 degrees, and it looked fantastic. Like, otherwise, like, when would you really hear about things like that unless you see, like, new technology basically, showcasing stuff. So that's another use of it. And I could show you some examples later on of document capture, because there's some really interesting ones and could be really useful as a learning tool. So here's another study from Bath University. And basically it found that creating a virtual reality experience using a normal 360 camera is achievable. And it did just that, where it had basically, documented and the historical center of a city in Crete. So, it's good for marketing purposes, good for virtual tours, and that could expand into other disciplines. For example, marketing, business. So, it's more than just archaeology. It's more than just history. It's also good for business too. It's good for scientific purposes, for observing areas that you otherwise couldn't get to. For example, going to harsh areas of the Amazon, or going to the top of mountains, getting magnificent shots otherwise you'd never see. Doing it, with a regular camera. So that's more to think about. And basically, it proved to be successful. People found a high level of engagement perceived by the participants. They thought it was immersive, and that's basically what you're trying to create here, is immersion. And with immersion, like I said, it's sound and the visual together. They can really trick the brain. In my previous video, I talk about it. You can look that up. It's on EdTech's webpage. So, you could check that out and learn about some of the more basic ways that virtual reality can, interact with the brain, and studies that have shown so. So, like I said, uses for in education, virtual field trips, fostering creativity, filming and editing, observation of classrooms during test taking. You could see this also used for security purposes. If you want to have a 360 degree of the entire area, you can, keep your eye on everything. But there's, like I said over here, there's endless possibilities for immersion, especially for students with special needs who aren't able to basically, go to these places without some support. So I have a link here. You know what? I'll get to that later. Yeah, more studies, finding that education is conducive. Virtual reality experience with 360 degree cameras are conducive to education. This is a study in 2021. Basically, it did identify that there is a dearth of familiarity with this type of software in education. So, there's a lot of opportunity to explore these topics, and there's a lot of opportunity to study it. And I find it personally to be very interesting. And as well as many students. The study also shows that, people really like it. Students really like it. It engages them. And, that's conducive to learning, I find, especially when there's so many examples that I've already showed for how they can basically enhance their learning process. So yeah, basically getting back to the camera, it costs currently $364.99. Pocket size, as I said, requires micro SD. You have to register with your smartphone. And basically it does that with like a Wi-Fi connection. And it's very easy to take the video, have it like a quick edit, download it to your phone, put it on your desktop, and then upload it straight to YouTube. And then YouTube, from there, you can take something like this, which is the Oculus Quest 2, and with the application, YouTube VR, you can easily view it. And right there, you could be a content creator of virtual reality yourself. And like I said, the app is easy to use, is a little cumbersome, as I said before. It took some, I'm the type of person that will try to figure out something before I read the directions. So, but once I read the directions, it fills in the blanks, and then I'm okay. So it was, it was a good experience, I would say. I think that everyone here is very intelligent, so you'll be able to figure it out. And it is easy for beginners. And yeah, I kind of touched upon all these points as well. So you know what? Now allow me to show you some of the content that I've created. You guys see this? Yep. Okay. So, a couple important points to make. Okay, so this is made in 16:9 ratio aspect. That is ideal for things such as YouTube. And let me just refer to my notes over here. For other ratio aspects, there are some optimal settings as well. Yeah, for example, for Instagram, you would use 1.1. For cinematic mode, you would use 235.1. And other pro tips I would suggest is with the camera. So basically, never put the camera down on any kind of surface like that. Could be coarse, like a table or anything like that. You must always keep it on something like a microfiber, because these lenses will scratch and will reduce your image quality. I bought this as well. This is the cap that comes with it. It's a rubber cap, and recommend it. If you want to just like put this in like your shirt pocket and record as you're walking, that would be a great way to create the first person perspective, as I shown before. But if you cap it, then you'll be good to go. You can put it in your pocket. So what else would I like to say here? It's good for vlogging too. Like this is sort of like a vlog right now, what we're doing with recording this session right here. Maybe I'll edit it and I'll put it up to YouTube as well, and you can see me talking to you from a third person perspective. What else here? It has a cool feature. I mean, this is not something that I think is unique to this phone. Basically, what you have here, here's one of the attachments. This is the selfie stick, and I'll explain to you how I shot this video as well. Basically, I held it above my head like this, and it kind of created like a drone shot. And what's interesting about it is that the AI technology knows how to delete the selfie stick. So it just looks like I'm walking around the studio with my fists clenched. So, what else? It takes USB Type-C to USB Type-A. It is, let's see. It has over here, it has a touch screen, and in the touch screen, it shows you what you're looking at. If you spin it, I don't know if you can see that. You spin it around, you can see different angles of what you're looking at. I have about 250, what is it, 56 gigabytes in here, and it holds about 5 hours and 32 minutes of data. Right now, I've got about 4 hours and 44 minutes. It does get quite hot, so I'm not sure if that's too big of an issue, but that's what it is, I guess, with that. Let's see. You're able to operate the phone. I mean, you're able to operate it through your phone, actually. So that's useful also for when you're filming. Say if you don't want to be at all in the shot, like you want to just record an area. I mean, frankly, you could just crop yourself out of the video after you press record. That's one way to do it. But if you don't want to do that, you can just hit record on your phone with application that works with it. And basically, you know, once you've recorded it, you can export it to whatchamacallit, your computer. Basically, my 11-minute and something second video was about 1.5 gigabytes. It was a MP4. That was the extension that it can take it to. So anyway, without further ado, let me show you some of the content I created. Second. Let's try it at a different ratio. You guys see that? No? Okay. You know what? Let me stop this share and then, because let me try something here. Share screen. How about now? Yes, okay. Basically what I did here was I put the comic book effect because I did it for some, you know, more practical reasons. Basically, you know, there's a town release form. I can't ask all the students on the street to sign it. So, you know, I did it in public too. So I was on campus, but just for extra safety and, you know, to demonstrate some of the things that you could do is basically, you know, attach these different kinds of filters. This is the only one that I saw on the editor that was particularly artistic, but there is more options for some reason on the phone application rather than the desktop application. But I believe, yeah, there's a lot of Hollywood level stuff that you could do with these type of things. So let me show you. Basically, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar. I'm moving the camera around. I don't know if you guys are familiar. This is College Avenue. I've added music. I'm actually in this. Let me show you. See me walking around at the bottom. See, if I wanted to, in the phone app, I could lock onto that bus and basically I could force the view to follow that bus down the street. That's one type of thing you could do with that. Let me skip ahead to see some more familiar areas. It's the art building. This guy must have been really weirded out by me. I'm like walking around with this huge stick and he's like over there trying to like get some books. me get to somewhere else. Yeah, and in the VR headset, you can move your head around basically just like the way this mouse moves around. Hepburn Hall. The guy had to be this guy right here was doing his job over here with the leaf blower. And what's cool is with the music, I can use the mixer to drown that out. And so you'll just completely hear the music, or you could drag it to like whatever percentage you want where it could play in the background. That's just another feature that I find is pretty cool. Matter of fact, let me lower that music so little. I'm gonna be talking. On this feature though, you could do that in the phone, but this is just like, you know, actually does do the whole overall sound well. So yeah. And over here, this is what it would look like if it wasn't in reframe mode. It's basically, this is a good example of how it records, where it like basically like takes the two lenses and like crops it in like a sphere. You know, as a matter of fact, let me try to zoom out and I'll show you the effect. It's like, basically, it's almost like Tiny Planet mode here. It is Tiny Planet mode, excuse me, sorry. But when you're zoomed in, it creates that effect. And there's different options you can put on there to narrow it. You can control the horizon a little bit better. You can basically like target people's faces within videos and enhance them or edit them. You can speed up time, you can jump around, you can do a number of cool tricks. And basically, you know, if you get really good, it could look like it belongs on TV or in a movie. So for artistic purposes, this is really, really interesting. I had fun with it. I can imagine students who are into cameras, who are into art, who are into being creative, expressing themselves, they'll really take this as an opportunity to basically use it for those purposes. So let me see if I had anything else here. See that? I know. Hold on one second. Yeah, so yeah, you could upload it right to YouTube. That is a shortcut to basically immersing yourself straight into the video. Like literally, like I'm confident that, you know, if you can get past using the touch screen, you will be able to do it. And like the study said from 2021, the recent study has said that a lot of educators haven't capitalized on this yet. I think it's a great opportunity for education. I think that especially for educational technology. So basically, I think that's it. You know, that's what I got.
Thank you so much, Julio. This is really great. And we have a bunch of questions. Amelie, are you close to your computer? Are you able to help us?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Julio, you may have to mute in the meantime. Or is it easier since you guys are sharing a space? Do you want me to read them today?
You know what? Let me just You know what? I'll just put this computer in a different room. Well, I don't know. How do we do this? 1 second. I'll take the questions from down here.
Okay, sounds great. Go ahead, Amelie.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. So the first question was, did you go over the cameras you recommend? Like, did you go over what cameras you recommend?
yeah, you know, I did some research back when I started playing around with the Oculus Quest 2. You know, I was interested in some of the videos that were being made. I was like, you know, what would be something that would help me create these kind of, you know, content that I can enjoy myself, you know, and use myself. So this was a cost-effective one. At the time when I bought it, it was about $429. Now it's $364. So I think the cost kind of guided my procurement of this one. There's way more advanced ones. Like there's like $2,000 ones you could buy. I'm not sure how much better they are than this one, but I'm satisfied with this one. I would think they're much higher clarity. And I think that I guess you get what you pay for. So, but this is a good one. It's worth it, in my opinion.
Okay, so the second question is, have you used Thinglink? It uses 360 images.
No, I haven't, but you know, I'm gonna I'll take that down, I'll check it out, and who knows, if it's something that I like, I'll make a video on that.
Okay, third question is, did you get any add-ons with the camera? What packages?
Well, the only thing that I got was with the Amazon order, it came with the selfie stick, the extendable selfie stick. The other one, I think I mentioned before, was Bullet Time. Now with Bullet Time, it like basically goes on a cord. You can like swing it around and basically create like, you know, I can imagine that's cool if you're like on a skateboard or like jumping out of a plane, or even if you attach to a drone. If you can attach that type of attachment to the drone mount and like swings around in the air wildly, I think you're going to be able to create something pretty exciting. And you know, there's I haven't had any other attachments other than like the selfie stick, unfortunately.
Was the hardest part of getting started? Were there any barriers that we should consider when starting out?
Let's see. That's a good question. You know, I think that, you know, the internet has a lot of great tutorials. The website has a lot of great tutorials. Basically, like me, I like to tinker with things, but you know, after a while I hit a wall and I'm like, well, you know, I gotta like, you know, figure out exactly how this is supposed to be done. So basically I filled in the gaps with that, and I created a video like I showed you. I created some other content that you know, I would like to also work on and perfect. And I have ideas for future content, but I think that the learning curve is not too bad. Like you can create a pretty basic, you will be able to create a pretty basic video. You can, you know, you take the picture. Like the hardest part for me, frankly, was registering the phone and the camera together. For some reason, it wasn't working the first day. And it was like, you know, sometimes you just have to take a step back and tackle it later on. For, you know, for some reason it'll work later, you know. But that's, you know, I would say, yeah, you know, registering the phone. Like I said, using the touch screen was a little cumbersome, but then, you know, after reading some of the basic features, such as like, you know, the white exposure and like things like that, and you know, like the settings and switching it to be optimal. Like basically what you want to do is have the optimal settings, and the optimal settings, you definitely need it to be 5.7K and 30 frames per second for this particular camera. It can be different for other ones, but but that's basically what I was trying to accomplish. And you know, I did what I set out to accomplish. And you know, I see that there's a lot of opportunities to do even more and expand upon it.
Are there certain sources directed towards using these 360 cameras in a K-12 setting?
You see, certain sources, well, you know, I think there's a lot of great content. Like National Geographic has amazing videos. It has very, very interesting videos of archaeological sites. It has great videos of nature sites, you know, breathtaking images, and they're using really high-end cameras, so you're going to see a lot of clarity. In terms of learning about how the camera works, YouTube is fantastic. Like there's some people out there who like just let you get the ball rolling, and basically you can go ahead, and if you're a creative type of person, you can use it as a new canvas. It's kind of like learning how to use something like Photoshop, or learning how to use something like Paint, or, you know, it's really, if you have the ability to compose, you could take with what little you do know how to do and do a lot. And the more you learn, you can do even more on top of that. So
Will this presentation be available?
yes, it will be, as well as all the other presentations that Dana is so greatly doing for us. Thank you, Dana. I think, you know, you're doing a great job. Appreciate it. And this will be up here, and even you know, I'll try to get the VR recording as well, if it's you know, good. So
Julio, quick question also. Will you be able to share your slides with the group?
oh yeah, you know, if people send me their email, I'll share them with them, you know.
Could I
have no
put your
problem with
email
that.
in the chat now?
Yeah, gdanino@njcu.edu. And yeah, you know, I'm more than happy to do that. I mean, you can always just screen cap my slides from the video, steal them. So
Perfect. And there's one more question that came through earlier. And it's the question was, do you recommend that all of your videos are uploaded to YouTube? And they said that, I think you mentioned the YouTube VR. And then would you provide links to people so they can view with their own VR headsets?
well, with YouTube VR, you should be able to just find, like, for example, like Oculus Quest has, you know, an app store, like kind of like Google Play, or, you know, the Apple Store. You just go in and you just type in Google VR. The application is right there. You just download it. With the Oculus Quest, you're able to just see it like that. I think with YouTube, regular YouTube on a desktop, you can also see it. You'll be able to do like the drag thing, and you know, and that, you know, you don't even need a VR headset to really get a lot out of it. I mean, you can get a lot of mileage even just from showing it on your desktop. Like if you wanted to see a 360-degree view for, like, say, for example, a practical purpose of, like, just, you know, for, or another type of use of it, like I said, for test taking purposes. I mean, it seems kind of, I don't know, to me that seems a little cruel, though, to be like, I have this all-seeing camera here, so nobody's gonna cheat, you know what I mean? So it could be a little, I don't know how that works in it. I don't know if that's you know, conducive to education, but could be. I mean, they should do a study on that. So
Awesome. I think that looks like we've kind of exhausted our questions. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate this. Is a great presentation. And
Thank
thank you to everybody so much who's come and participated as well. Hold on one second. Let me stop our recording.